So
it's been, well, you
babies,
know,
yes?
There's always royal news, isn't there? But
I
feel at the moment with Meghan pregnant and, you know, Harry and Meghan being huge news around the world, they're more popular than ever, aren't they?
Well, but we like them, though, see, because everyone knows that I am, like, you know, the weirdest royal fan, but those two are doing it for me.
Well, I think they're modernising the royals a bit, aren't they?
They're making them cool.
Yeah, right. And Harry's just become a godfather as well, which is why they were in the news at the weekend. And that's to Lena Elizabeth Tyndall, who is the youngest daughter of Zara Tyndall, formerly Phillips. And it gets a bit confusing, but that's the Queen's daughter's daughter. So it's the Queen's granddaughter's daughter, if that makes sense.
It makes sense. So what we've done is we've made a graphic of who's related to who.
Right, a family tree.
It's beyond confusing.
Well, it is a bit, yeah. If you didn't grow up and it's not second nature to you in the UK, then, this makes it a bit more simple, doesn't it? So you can see the Queen had 4 children, one of which was Princess Anne. And then you can see that below that Princess Anne's children, you'll see Zara there. And, of course, it's Zara's youngest that has just been christened.
Right.
And the godfather is Harry. So Lena Elizabeth Tyndall is 19th in line to the throne.
19th.
It's not very likely to happen, is it? Let's be honest.
But here's the thing about being that far down. You get all the perks of being a royal, but don't have to get all the scrutiny of being a royal, right?
Well, if it was Game of Thrones or something, she might have a chance. Because everyone get their throats cut. But no, I mean, it's not very likely to happen. But yeah, it's really nice, I think, that he's become a godfather. And Prince William is their first child's godfather. So it's kind of a nice tie-in.
Yeah.
They got one each.
Right. So, okay. Meghan, baby's coming soon.
That's right.
In a matter of weeks, they're moving into Frogmore.
They are, yeah, because they've been in Kensington Palace in Nottingham Cottage. I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's basically a 2-bedroom cottage, obviously within the grounds of this beautiful palace.
It's like a shack.
Exactly.
On the grounds of
not very royal.
Of the Kensington Palace. What shack do we have them in?
Well, it's quite a compact space when you go there. I don't know if you've ever visited, but it's very old-fashioned little cottages, which I suppose at one time would have been quite palatial. But they're tiny. So
the 16th century?
Right, exactly. So it's not surprising that they want to move to somewhere larger. And of course, you know, their hearts are in Windsor anyway. It's where they got married. Frogmore House was where they had the wedding reception. This is Frogmore Cottage, which is in the same grounds. And it's a 10-bedroomed, they say cottage, but 10-bedroom cottage. It's more of a house, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It's criminal. That's in the United States. That's like that's palatial.
They're doing all right, aren't they? It's going to have apparently a yoga studio in there. Obviously, a huge nursery. It's going to be quite different to living in a cottage for them. But, you know, some people are saying, is there a rift between Kate and William and that's why they're moving away to Windsor? I don't think it's that at all. I think they want to be maybe a bit away from the cameras and raise their children a bit more privately, maybe than Kate and William have to, because, of course, William's directly in line to the throne. So,
James, we forget that these are 2 human beings, right? And even though they have the monikers and they're shrouded in royalty, like you said, they have a child coming into the world, and that completely changes everything.
Totally does.
Meghan, those motherly instincts are definitely going to come to the forefront. She's going to make sure that her child is safe, and also her whole story becoming a royal has been heavily publicized and heavily documented. I'm sure for her, she needs to wrap her head around this natural, life-changing event. What better way to do it than on your own?
Yeah, and, you know, she may choose to turn down, if the Queen offers for her son or daughter to be a prince or princess, she may turn that down. And that happened, actually, just to go back a little bit, with Princess Anne. You know, she was given the chance for her children to be princes and princesses, and she said no. So that could happen with Meghan, you know, because I feel like she maybe wants to raise the children a little bit more normally, you know, away from the spotlight. So it remains to be seen. But, yeah, Frogmore House is going to be the place to do it, I think, you know, away from
I love it, Frogmore. So what else I love, though, James, is this rumored second baby shower.
Yeah, have you had your invite?
I'm still waiting. Look, Meghan needs to... I've watched every season of Suits. I think I pay my penance to Meghan.
I'm back in the UK in April, so I'm kind of thinking, is there some way I can, like, you know, get on that list? Well, apparently there is going to be Baby Shower Mark II in the UK at Buckingham Palace. Very close family and friends there. Doria, her mum, apparently is coming over for that. But it's going to be a lot different, I think, from the one we saw in New York, you know, at the Mark Hotel.
$200,000 baby shower.
Yeah, which, you know, in the UK, there were a few people that were kind of like, well, they may have paid for it, but it's kind of splashing the cash a bit in our faces. We weren't 100% convinced that was quite the right thing to do. Didn't feel very royal to us. The royals tend to be a bit more understated, unless it's like a state event where they get out, you know, the gold carriage and that sort of thing. So I think this will be more of a very quiet, sort of private thing. And of course, she's heavily pregnant now. So, yeah, I think I don't blame her for having another one in the UK, and
I don't blame her for flashing a $200,000 baby shower in NYC. We forget, like,
that's the difference between the Brits and the Americans. I think
holding on to, she's like, I'm holding on to my former life. I'm holding on, but I mean, it was still super, super over the top.
Yeah.
New news of them getting a household. Now, the Queen. Is this a rarity in the monarchy?
You know what? It's not a rarity. I think the way it's been publicised with the creation of a brand new household for Meghan and Harry is that they want to split away from Kate and William. Another story to sort of try and prove this weird split. But no, it's quite normal. So what's happening, basically, they're moving to Frogmore House. They're starting their own life. They're starting a family. And they need different staff. They need different staff to Kate and William. And so it's basically a case of assembling a team of people around them that will just do business for Harry and Meghan. And that's basically all it is.
It makes sense.
But the Queen has said to them, apparently there was a request that they could be completely independent of Buckingham Palace. The Queen put her foot down and said, no, your office, your staff have to remain at Buckingham Palace. So I guess you can keep kind of a close eye on them from afar, even though they'll be out there at Windsor.
Yeah.
She can keep a close eye on proceedings, which, with all the family drama, unfortunately, surrounding Meghan, you kind of can't blame her, She wants to be kind of careful how all of that's navigated, I think.
James, in all the years you've covered the experts, I've been an expert, of covering the royals. Is Meghan the most interesting case for you? Has this been like the holy grail of royal news and royal happenings? Because she's so interesting and unique.
Well, I suppose I'm old enough, dare I say it, to remember the day. Thank you so much. To remember the days of Diana. I think it's probably on par with that in some respects, in that someone has come along and clearly wants to do things her own way. As much as things as wearing dark nail polish and things like that, which the royals don't tend to do. I think it takes you back to those days of Diana, someone very independent, going maybe a little bit against the grain. I think it's how the palace are going to deal with it this time around, because obviously last time it wasn't great for Diana. This time, I hope, Meghan will be a little more supported and they'll realise this is the way things have to be for the royals to survive. They've got to modernise. So I think she's the perfect person to do it,
Have you been... I don't want to say fascinated, but been just so maybe gobsmacked by how the monarchy has kind of been bending to her needs and her requests.
Yeah, I think particularly being a divorcee and obviously her ex-husband still being alive, because that was at one time it was like, well, you kind of maybe will be able to marry again with some permission, but your partner has to have died.
Right.
Well, obviously that's not the case. So as much as that, I think that was quite a surprise. But I think she's going to be allowed within reason to bend the rules a little bit. And Harry's not directly in line to the throne, so I think that makes it a little bit easier as well.
It does. Well, I hope you get the invite to the baby
shower.
Do
I.
It's going to be great.
Checking my mailbox every day.
James McCord, always a pleasure. Looking smashing.
Thank you so much. No problem.
Guys, stick with the stream. ET Live. We'll be right back.
We aren't caught up in your love affair, and we'll never be royal.